Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 3 of Cups. There is love inside of you. I think that you have a very, an infinite capacity to love. Okay, and I think when you find the right things, when you find the right people, the right pets, the right plants, the right people, I think that your love is infinite. Okay, I think that you are, you're operating from a place of true abundance right now. And I think that you're someone who, I feel like you're very supportive of other people. I think you have a gratitude practice that you're trying to really implement and stick with. And I think it comes fairly easy for you. But I think you're trying to do it maybe in a more formal way. Like we're journaling about it, that sort of thing. I feel like you have, there are places in your life where you do things just because it's right to do them, because it's kind, not looking for anything in return, right? That we are sharing our abundance with other people. I need a sip of my tea. That we are, sorry, I got the holy basil tea today. It's absolutely delicious. I love that stuff. You're somebody who is always kind of willing to help out, willing to be there for a friend. I feel like people come to you as kind of a shoulder when they need a shoulder, But people also know that you're going to be in their corner for them. That you're going to be cheering them on both when they're low, when they're having problems, when they're feeling overwhelmed, but you're going to be there to celebrate with them when they are on top, And I think that's tremendous energy. That's really a very strong presence. I feel like when you walk into the room, people can feel the glow kind of coming off of you, right? Let's put this card into a little bit of context and see what is going on for you. Here we have an Emperor energy. We have a 4 of Pentacles. We have the Libra energy with the adjustment card. We have a 10 of Pentacles. Very good. We have a 7 of Pentacles. I wonder if you've been sort of wondering, kind of who's there for you when you're up and who's there for you when you're kind of down, right? The 7 and the 10, these are like, 2 very, very different cards, obviously, right? Here we have a 3 of Wands. We have a 2 of Cups. We have the Lover's card, and we have the Hanged Man. Very interesting. I think you're someone who is, as much as you have this this love and this compassion and this supportive, kind of generous, charitable almost energy, I feel like you're also very independent. I almost feel as if you like to be the giver and you don't really like to receive, I feel that it's kind of, I feel like that's changing for you though, I feel like you're allowing people to be there to support you. I think you're allowing love into your life. Even though like you're the one that's going and helping everybody else, we have this Emperor card that kind of says like, you got to let your wall down a little bit to let people in to sort of, to be there for you. It could be that we don't like to show that kind of need, when we're experiencing a bad day, let's say our 7 of Pentacles day. We're not really comfortable with people, being there to support us. I feel like in a way you kind of hide away when things aren't going so well, because you don't want people to sort of feel sorry for you or pity you or anything like that. That's one thing about the 3 of Cups. It could become a little bit of pity for other people, right? And we don't need to pity other people. We can show compassion and we can show empathy and we can be there for people, but we don't have to pity anybody, And I feel like you don't want anyone to pity you. let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with Alien, Simon, Mork Ripley, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see some pretty good major arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4. We see some fire. We see some water. We don't have any air cards, interestingly. Well, I mean, Libra, Gemini, air signs. We have some major arcana air references, right? But no swords cards, yeah? And then we've got our earth, and our earth. I feel like you're climbing a ladder here. I feel like you're trying to go straight up this path, and you're trying to be as disciplined and as serious and as sort of committed as you can be to recognize some goal. The Ten of Pentacles to me feels like this is your ideal life. This is it. This is wealth, right? This is your model of perfection for your life, right? Whether this is about your personal development, you know, what kind of person do I want to become? What is my perfected personality? Whether this is you achieving some sort of perfection or some sort of status or some goals in your professional life or your vocation. What is your calling, right? Are you a healer? Are you a teacher? Are you a lead? I feel like you're probably a leader. Because of the Emperor, you know, I feel like there is a leadership quality in you that is sort of coming to the surface. So when we talk about your best life, you know, this is that idea of perfection, and it kind of gives us an ideal image, a perfected image of what we want our life to be, whether this is just internal stuff, fulfilling a role like perfecting our personality and all that kind of stuff, or if it is more about the external achievements. Either way. Probably both, right? This is the perfect life that we all want, okay? And I think you know what this is for you. I think you've been maybe watching my channel for a while, and you've heard me say, get out a sheet of paper, get out a pencil, draw a picture of your best life. What would it look like? What are the details, right? Your perfected self, your perfected life. What kind of qualities would it have? What would it look like? What's the color of the wallpaper kind of thing, you know? What does the idea of wealth mean to you? If we thought I have a very rich life, I feel like a wealthy person. Why is that? It's not just money. Maybe money is a big part of it, sure, because it's the means to doing other things. But what else, like what would you do with that money? What is the life that you want? You want a life, are you the traveler? Do you want to have a life of traveling? Are you the healer, or, you know, the sort of, are you the hermit, right? I feel like you're a bit of a leader here, and I feel that you are, I feel like you might be someone interested in traveling as well, because I kind of feel that you are putting yourself out there in the world and sort of sharing your knowledge, wisdom, your expertise with other people, that you're trying to, I don't know, almost feel like you're like a contractor, or you are a consultant or something like this, because I feel like you're sort of going around to other companies or other people's, I don't know, whatever, and you're offering your services in order to lift them up, right? So you're that kind of, you're the consultant person that goes to different businesses and sort of teaches them how to succeed, yeah. But this is your own version of that perfected life, okay? And this is at the top of the path of the dove, because I feel like you know what that is for you. You know what it is that you want to bring yourself in harmony with, okay? And I think that's kind of a first step here in order to really make progress spiritually, physically, financially, whatever, right? Emotionally, mentally. We need to have that image of, okay, who am I? Who am I now? Four of Pentacles. And who do I want to be? Or what do I want my life to be? What is my life now, and what do I want it to be, right? Either way, whether this is internal, external, it's both at the same time, most likely. So the Four of Pentacles is you understanding who you are and where you are right now. Okay? And I feel that this is also kind of us having a little bit of walls around us. Like, energy can go out to help other people, but sometimes we're not willing to accept too much help ourselves. And I think we need to open up a little bit in that way, okay? But the Four of Pentacles is us understanding where we are right now. The only way to begin a spiritual journey, a financial, a career journey, a work journey, whatever it is, the only point from which we can begin any quest is right where we are right now. Can't say, well, I'll start tomorrow when I have things in a better alignment. I'll do it in a month or two when I don't have so much debt. Maybe I'll do it in a 6 months when I've lost a little bit of weight, No, we start right now. We start where we are. So this card is really about kind of looking around the room and seeing, okay, what kind of supplies do I have? Kind of think in like a survival situation, you're going to say, well, I could probably have a pretty good chance if I had more food, water, and more tools and stuff like this. Maybe a first aid kit. I don't have any of that. No, we look around and we say, what do I have around me right now? Who am I right now? Where am I in my life right now? And what am I doing right now? Okay? And then we compare that, obviously, to the Ten of Pentacles, where I want to be. What is my highest ideal for myself? What is my perfected ideal model for my best life and my best self? Okay? And that Four is us being very honest and very realistic about where we are now. Maybe this is about a career advancement. My ideal career, I want to be that. I want to be an artist that's sort of making money and traveling around and having art shows and galleries or whatever, or it's kind of like my ideal is to get into one of the magazines, or I don't know what how that works, but we have these lofty goals, and then we realize, okay, well, how close am I to doing that right now? Well, maybe I need to get my canvas and my paintbrush. I need to start painting. Maybe I got to go and visit some other artists and other art shows and galleries and stuff to just kind of to get a feel for the industry, that sort of thing. But we realize where we are right now, and that tells us where we need to go. And where we need to go is into that Seven of Pentacles, the darkness ahead of us, which is sort of scary. Because it's not, we don't just jump from the 4 to the 10. We've got to go through the other cards, you see. And so in the future position, you have the Seven of Pentacles, which is the card of the little f failures. It's kind of like, if I see where I am and I see where I want to be, it kind of feels like there's a dark, scary forest spanning here and there, right? And so it feels as if I've got to go through a lot of hardship to get to the Ten of Pentacles. I've got to get through a lot of, a lot of challenges. I've got to overcome a lot of darkness here, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of regret, a lot of failures. I've got to try and sort of, bite the dust. I was going to say eat the, I gotta fall down once in a while. Maybe this is something about your own inner character development, right? That we have this ideal for our own personality, right? And maybe this is that I want to be the leader, I want to be the healer, whatever the archetype might be for us. Or let's say I want to be I want to get really good at jiu-jitsu, right? That's always my go-to. And to get very good at jiu-jitsu, we have to say, okay, well, where am I right now? Okay, well, I've never done jiu-jitsu. I'm not in the best shape of my life. I don't have a lot of stamina, but I'm still young enough that I can do it. And this is kind of a realistic assessment. It's not meant to be judgmental. And we have the Justice card here, which is about sort of judging the relative values of things. Okay, so we're sort of judging ourselves in a relative way. We're not saying, oh gosh, I'm terrible at jiu-jitsu, I suck at it, I'm out of shape, I'm old, there's no way, because that's judgmental, right? No, what we're doing is we're judging the relative value of saying, okay, this is an honest assessment of where I am now, this is where I want to be, and this is the work I need to do. Fire and earth. The Emperor taking charge and doing the thing. Okay, to get good at jiu-jitsu, to get from here, total beginner, never stepped foot on a mat, to someone that, maybe getting some good belts and doing some matches and really feeling like, okay, I may not be the best, but I'm certainly not the worst. So, this is a pretty good, my goal, maybe your goal is a certain color belt. Maybe it's like, I'd love to get to the purple belt or something. Or just, if I could just get past white belt, that would be great. That would be like a good ideal, right? But let's think big. Let's think high. Let's aspire to the stars, you know. But to go from here to here, we got to go through this. And this is, I'm getting my butt kicked every Saturday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever, on the mat. I'm getting thrown down. And I'm falling down on the mat, getting beat up in jiu-jitsu class. Knowing that we have to go through this, and this is our willingness, this is our sacrifice, this is the ordeal of the path. Okay, in this sort of hero's journey, or in this effort of sort of you know, achieving our ideal, or I don't know, individuating, integrating ourselves. It's kind of like synthesizing our lives, right? We've got to go through the ordeals, and that is knowing that this is going to be a very challenging. It's not going to be a cakewalk. If it were a cakewalk, then I don't think your 10 of Pentacles is really a 10 of Pentacles. I think it's more like still a 4. Because if it's easy, it's basically like I'm just staying home. As soon as I walk outside, there's going to be things to do, challenges to face. Okay, so if this isn't sufficiently grand, it's not going to be all that satisfying anyway. So we have to make sure that we set up an ideal here that's going to be challenging to get to. If it's too easy to get to, it wasn't really much of an ideal, right? It sort of reminds me of Creed in The Office, where his New Year's resolution is to do the perfect cartwheel. And his standard of perfection for the cartwheel is like he basically just does a little jump. And he's like, I did it, perfect cartwheel, that's it, I'm done. And that's it, that's his goal. So it's silly. But the Judgment card, or the Justice card, it's a card of the relative judgment. It's adjustment. This is us being very discerning. And I think that this is us really understanding and having a good feel for, a good gauge of what our ideal should be. You know, because we have a lot of different aspirations, you know. I think we want to be a lot of things. All of us. We don't have, you know, it's hard to just say, this is one thing I want to be. This is my vocation, right? I think sometimes we have a calling to a vocation. That's what a vocation is. It's a calling. And I think sometimes Spirit will tell us that this one thing means more to us than anything else, and the scales are very obviously tipped. I'm going to be the leader, the healer, the mystic, or the writer, the poet, or, you know, whatever it is. The jiu-jitsu, you know. But for some of us, it's not all that. It's not all that cut and dry. We don't know. We haven't yet maybe received that big lightning flash of inspiration. Or, you know, some kids when they're really little, they know what they're going to be when they grow up. They know there's one thing in life that means more to them than anything else, and that's a rare thing. I don't know. I wasn't like that. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So instead of having this external ideal of I want to be the healer or the mystic or the hermit or the, you know, or the magician or the professor or whatever, we might do something a little more general. We say, I don't know what I want to be doing. I haven't received that calling yet. I haven't received the summons yet. But I'm still gonna do the work by developing my perfected self internally. Okay, knowing what kind of qualities I want to have as a person. You know, I want to have willpower. I want to have compassion and love. I want to have, you know, a community. I want to be, you know, I want to be wise. I want to, you know, all these different things. You know, altruistic, virtuous, that sort of thing. Kind of, and it's sort of the Three of Wands. It's the virtues, right? The virtues that we want to embody. And that is maybe the way that we are looking for a more, it's kind of the difference between going to university and having like one major, specializing in one, I'm going to major in math, right? Or something like that. God forbid. It's that versus, I'm just going to do like general ed stuff. I'm going to do like, I can't remember what they call it now, but, you know, like a liberal arts kind of thing. I just want to have a well-rounded development. But we still have that idea of the perfection, the image of the ideal. Okay, so let's not think that we have to just pick one speciality And that's going to be the rest of our life, and that's what we have to focus on. Maybe we've had the calling, maybe we know, and that's really good. If we don't, that's really good too. Because we can still have our Ten of Pentacles and know what it is that we want to develop in ourselves. And, well, the Emperor can know what work to do. The Emperor has to have the fortitude, has to have the discipline, and has to take it, seriously. I think there is also an underlying joy to the path when we are thinking of it this way. I think as we talk about the path of the serpent, we'll see more about your interactions with other people. Because I feel as if your communication, your love, your expression, the way you radiate out energy to other people, it's kind of like there's a one-way valve on it. It needs to be able to come back to you also. Okay, now, Path of the Serpent, we're going to start with the Three of Wands. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Three of Wands is your virtue. So these are those things that we know about ourselves, and the honest way that we can look at our life and say, okay, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing right now? And who am I, where am I, and what do I want to be doing down the road? That's the Ten of Pentacles. And so the virtues are those qualities that we know we need to develop. And it may be those virtues may be dictated by the path you're on. You want to be the good jujitsu. You want to be the, purple belt jujitsu at some point, right? That's what I'm going to aspire to. And maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. That's not the point. The point is the work that we do on the way, right? So that could be our goal. It's an external, it's a vocation. I'm called to being maybe like a teacher, right? So I know what I have to do to become a teacher. I know what virtues I need to embody to be a teacher. What kind of teacher am I going to be? Right? And so it's sort of, it gives us the plan. It gives us the blueprint, right? But if we don't know really what I want to be, but I have this idea of what I want myself to be internally, my perfected, let's say, personality. I know what qualities I wish to develop in myself because I'm very honest about what qualities I don't have. Maybe I'm not a very patient person. Okay, I need to work on patience. That's one of my virtues. Maybe sometimes I get a little bit mad or irritated at things that probably, don't mean that much and I shouldn't really react that way. Okay, well, maybe I got to work on my temper or my anger or controlling my negative emotions. Yeah. Maybe we procrastinate. Maybe we have low willpower. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're seeking pleasure, more than we really think is, that we ought to. Maybe we aren't really as energetic as we feel like we should be. These kinds of things. We can assess our lives accurately. And we can judge, we can gauge, we can weigh the options and say, I know what I want to develop in myself. And then, of course, we go through the difficult work of failing at it. I want to be more patient. Guess what I have to do? I got to go into situations that typically I would lose my shit. I got to go into those situations and try. I got to go into those situations and try to adapt and adjust myself, right? And adapt to the situation so that I can grow that muscle of patience or whatever it might be, right? Just as an example, anyway, you're probably a very patient person. But the Two of Cups in the environment, this is love around you, all around you. I think people really are drawn to you. And I think because you're doing this kind of work, that people can feel that in you and people feel inspired by you. People want to love you, right? And I think it's very important that you work on letting those people in. Maybe that's part of your character development, is that you want to be able to to get close to people and let people get close to you. You want to be able to receive a compliment, that you're always on the giving end of the love. And maybe I want to be able to receive love in a way that, that is, that feels right, feels good, in a way that is open. Because this is a reciprocating card, right? This Two of Cups, it's saying both of us, a two-way street. It's a two-way valve, and the water's flowing both ways there. So some of us, I think, are a little bit, we're okay with, giving to other people, giving compliments, giving affection, giving support, being there and, sharing that. But then when it sort of comes back in, we block it a little bit. And I wonder why, and this is something extremely personal, but why sometimes we might block that. Maybe we don't let people get too close to us here because maybe we've had losses in the past. Okay, maybe we've been burned in the past where we've let people in and they've taken advantage. And so we're okay with giving and giving, but no, don't try to get too close to me. Okay, so there's something there that we need to work on, perhaps. Maybe you're already in a relationship, maybe not, but I feel as if we're trying to open up that pathway a little bit. That's as part of our sort of ideal model of self, right? Now you have the Lover's card in the position of the obstacle. Well, this is that sort of commitment. I feel like maybe you have a difficulty sticking with something for a long time. Let's say you have a friend or a romantic situation. I feel like when things start to get really serious, you tend to pull back a little bit. This is a card of union. This is the card of marriage. This is the card of choosing one thing to the exclusion of other things. And that's the thing about choice. When we choose kind of the thing, it means all the other things don't get chosen, right? And that's where our dilemma lies, because especially with our Libra energy, that adjustment card, we may not want to commit to just one thing and have that be the way. Maybe you're a person right now that doesn't want that sort of commitment. This is in the position of sort of what you don't want, right? Because maybe we don't, and this doesn't have to be romance, by the way. This could be the commitment that says, I don't know what major to take in college, at university. I can't pick a major, right? I'm not the type of person, perhaps, that it's not my nature to pick just one thing and be that and go through all the 100 years of schooling to get the degree in that thing. Maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe you're very, very open to everything, and you don't, you're not able to pick that one speciality, right, of our ideal model. And so maybe you're the type of person that wants to have a more well-rounded, kind of this holistic kind of experience, where it's like, I'm going to work on my character development and my virtues, and those virtues, that perfected self, is going to allow me to go anywhere I want and do whatever I want. Okay? So it could be that your commitment is not so much to that one external pathway, the vocation, because maybe we haven't had the calling yet, just as your nature right now might not be to find one soulmate and connect with them for the rest of your life. Maybe you're not into that. Okay? I think at some point we realize that the Lover's card is about a commitment and a choice of ourselves, choosing us, choosing our true self. And if that true self leads you to a committed relationship with somebody in a marriage and a long-term kind of lifelong partnership, then fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But this is about being true to ourselves. What is our nature? Okay? And I'm not telling you what your nature is, but I think that you're working on it, and that you will be committing yourself to your truest, deepest, highest self, and allowing that inspiration to come in, because this is the card of inspiration. When we devote our lives to our deepest self, our highest self, we are receiving the inspiration from that highest self. Okay? And that inspiration is letting us know, and maybe that's going to be the calling for you. That's going to sort of give you a more clear pathway about what your highest ideal model of life is. Okay? Just as a commitment to our soulmate kind of thing, that is a relationship that's going to be a two-way street. It's a love relationship that's going to inspire us. And that's how we kind of know that it's a soulmate kind of thing, is that when we're in that commitment, we feel that inspiration. And it inspires us to be our best self. So it's kind of working inside out a little bit, right? The commitment to our deepest self is going to give us the inspiration about our external path. Our commitment to our external path or person is going to give us the inspiration to develop our best self. See, so it's kind of inside out. And it just depends on what type of person you are. What is your nature? Yeah. But either way, whatever your nature is, the Hanged Man is the way. And the Hanged Man is total surrender. The Hanged Man is accepting of the path that we're on. Okay? The Hanged Man is our willingness to give everything we have to this development. This is us willingly and willfully laying down on the blacksmith's anvil. Yeah. The art or temperance card, maybe be the mystery card. This is us volunteering to undergo the transformation. And that is, of course, kind of, this is the realm of that transformation. This is where we're going to find the blacksmith's anvil. This really should be the moon card, right? Because that's the dark, scary forest that we have to sort of volunteer for in order to be transformed and molded and shaped into our perfected self, or your perfected vocation path. If you've already had the calling, right? If you've already had the calling and you're answering the call and responding to the summons, you kind of know what spirit has inspired you to go pursue. And of course, that could be the character development or the external pathway, but it requires that we volunteer. If we don't, Spirit's going to make it difficult for us for sure. Spirit's going to keep knocking. It's going to keep waking you up in the middle of the night. So it's like we're kind of compelled to volunteer. We're kind of pushed into it. But let's look at the mystery card. Yeah. Moon card or the temperance card. Maybe another lover's card. Maybe some water energy. I don't know. Let's see what we have. Oh, the Chariot. Yes, the Chariot is the discipline that we need on the path. The Chariot is that fortification that we need as we go through the challenges and the little f failures, that we are devoted to something higher than us. We are devoted to something more than just our ego. We're using this is the fortified ego. We're using the fortified ego we're sort of sacrificing the fortified ego to the path itself, whatever the inspiration is. And we're devoted to something that is greater than just that ego. Okay? So if this is kind of a romance for you, that we're learning to connect with another person, we're going to go seek that relationship, that perfected ideal image of the relationship or whatever. We're devoted to the relationship itself. And that's something that is beyond me and it's beyond the other person. It's the relationship, or it's the family, or it's the it's the path. If it's you want to be the purple belt jiu-jitsu, this is the devotion and the commitment, the loyalty to jiu-jitsu, right? And so it's beyond you. This isn't just about our ego. It's something outside. It's transpersonal at that point. Okay? If this is a commitment to our deepest, highest, and truest self, that is something that transcends the ego. It's transpersonal. And this is our devotion and our commitment to that. And it's the card of discipline. Okay? This is the card of saying, I have now, I have rules and laws that I am bound by on this path. Sometimes I'm going to break those rules. Sometimes I'm going to make mistakes. Sometimes I'm going to sleep in too late. Sometimes I'm going to eat the wrong thing or whatever. Or some days I'm just not going to want to go to jiu-jitsu class. But this is our commitment to that higher destiny. Okay? And the Ten of Pentacles is the destiny given form. And this is our commitment to the path, because the path is greater than ego. The path itself is greater than where we are and where we're going. It's the path to get there. That is what is so sacred, and that's what we're devoted to. Okay. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Leo Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.